Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into a tension I'm sure you felt the very second you first tried something like ChatGPT. I mean, it generates these instant, highly confident answers in literally seconds. It kind of feels like magic, right? But here's the catch. How do we actually know when to trust it? See, we live in an era where getting an answer is no longer the scarce resource. The really scarce resource? Good thinking. So let's figure out how we can reclaim that. Which brings up a pretty critical question. Does AI make us lazier or faster? It is so incredibly tempting to just rely on that instant gratification, isn't it? To kind of kick back, become a passive passenger, and just let the machine do all the driving. But true critical thinking isn't about rejecting AI at all. It's really about making sure we stay in the driver's seat, actively testing these claims before we unleash them into the real world. And that brings us to a huge point. Speed is absolutely not the same thing as truth, because AI is essentially just a massive prediction engine. It is incredibly fast at producing polished, confident-sounding words, but a fluent, beautifully written answer can feel totally complete, even when it's completely fabricated and shallow. I mean, this is exactly why an AI can confidently pass the bar exam, but then totally fail at counting the letter R in the word strawberry. We really have to train ourselves to separate surface polish from actual factual quality. Okay, let's dive right into part one, thinking versus processing. To really grasp this difference, think about this analogy. An AI processing language is a lot like a printer spitting out a receipt. It's proof that a transaction happened and, something was produced. But holding a receipt doesn't mean you were actually fed. Humans don't just process text. We think by connecting language to real-world goals, consequences, and actual reality. We also have to separate evidence from interpretation. For example, seeing footprints in wet mud, that's raw evidence, it's a hard fact. But deciding exactly who walked by, their age, or where they were going, well, that's interpretation. AI often takes partial evidence and just confidently guesses the rest to fill in the gaps. It's a phenomenon tech experts actually call hallucinating. Simply put, plausible is just not the same as proven. So, when an AI spits out a paragraph, it's actually handing you a series of claims, and every single claim has a job to do. It might describe a reality, recommend a strategic action, or predict a future outcome. And a factual claim, like water boils at 100 degrees, needs totally different verification than a recommendation like you should invest your entire life savings in this stock. You always have to ask, what job is this specific claim actually trying to do? Now, in the real world, we're all operating under constraints. Critical thinking isn't about agonizing over finding one universally perfect answer. It's about finding the best answer under your specific constraints. You have to weigh the trade-offs. Do you need speed over perfect accuracy right now, or maybe convenience over total control? You've got to ask yourself, is this AI answer good enough for right now? And what exactly am I risking if I use it? That brings us to part two, testing the 4 layers. This is your practical mental model to systematically test any AI output. Here's the whole framework at a glance. Before trusting an AI, we evaluate its output across 4 distinct layers: meaning, support, fit, and risk. Essentially, we are auditing the AI for clarity, strength, relevance, and consequence. Let's take a quick moment to break down how you can actually apply each one of these right away. First up, meaning. The golden rule here is, do not try to test a fog bank. If an AI hands you a strategy saying it will synergistically improve operational efficiency, well, that is way too foggy to trust. You really have to force clarity. Ask it, how much improvement? Better than what? And for whom exactly? If the AI's claim completely falls apart when you ask for precise details, just ignore it. Next up is support. Ask yourself, what is actually carrying the weight of this answer? Is the AI's extreme confidence really backed by hard data, sound logic, and expert consensus? Or is it just a highly plausible sounding pattern of words it scraped from somewhere on the internet? Remember, a really neat, articulate explanation from an AI can easily mask incredibly thin evidence. The third layer is fit. This is a trap so many of us fall into, because the right answer in the wrong context is still wrong. An AI might give you this perfectly optimized, multi-million-dollar strategy that works wonders for a giant urban hospital. But if you try to apply that exact same plan to a small, underfunded local clinic, absolute disaster. The context isn't just some side detail, it's a fundamental part of the claim itself. Finally, risk. This is the ultimate reality check. Just ask, how bad is it if this AI is completely wrong? If you're just using AI to brainstorm a catchy title for your slide deck, the risk is practically zero, right?
You don't need intense scrutiny for that. But if you're using it for financial planning or medical advice, the stakes are absolutely massive. Basically, the higher your risk, the lower your tolerance should be for vague AI confidence.
So if you take literally nothing else away from this, lock in this simple mental loop. Every single time you read an AI output, automatically ask, what is actually being asserted? What evidence supports it? When and where does this apply? And what is the blast radius if it's wrong? The AI's job is to give you the claim quickly, but your job is to provide the critical thinking.
And that brings us to part 3, taking back control. This requires a bit of a mindset shift. It's such a vital reminder. You absolutely do not have to know everything to think well. You don't need a PhD in every single topic you research with AI. You really just need to know how to interrogate a claim before you adopt it. Asking the right questions is really the beginning of true control. Which brings us to the core mantra of this entire explainer. AI is a thinking partner. It is not a replacement for human judgment. It is fantastic at suggesting possibilities, drafting early ideas, and surfacing angles you might have missed. But an AI is only ever at its strongest when your own critical thinking and judgment are crystal clear. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. In the age of artificial intelligence, are you an active judge or just a passenger along for the ride? It's really time to stop passively accepting polished AI outputs and start actively measuring them against reality. When you do that, AI stops being this mysterious black box that thinks for you, and it transforms into a remarkably powerful tool that you think with. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.